Hi, welcome in. If you're new, I'm Radish, and today I want to give my honest thoughts and review of Discounty. To be honest, I have already completed the game, though not 100%. Without spoiling anything, my thoughts and feelings about this game are what drove me to start posting on this channel again. Let's start by looking at the Steam page for this game. It starts by saying Discounty is a narrative driven management sim offering 15 to 20-hour single player campaign. I would completely agree with this. I casually put in about 16 and a half hours into this game and completed it. While I'm sure that you could have done it in less, I'm not sure you could spend much more time than I did without going to 100% the game. It then goes on to say manage your own discount supermarket. Get caught up in small town drama, organize and plan your shop's layout, and strike lucrative trade deals as you expand your secretive ants business empire. Selling more frozen fries will surely heal this broken community, right? Step into the quirky harbor town of Blomkist, where your aunt has entrusted you with managing its only supermarket. Design and organize your shop, manage stock levels, work the checkout, and strike trade deals. Build relationships with the charming locals and grow your business empire while navigating community dynamics. Use every tool at your disposal to expand your business, but be mindful. Rapid growth might ruffle a few feathers in this tight knit community. Will you pursue endless profits or find a way to benefit everyone in Blomkist? I really want to highlight the end part that says grow your business empire while navigating community dynamics. Use every tool at your disposal to expand your business, but be mindful. Rapid growth might ruffle a few feathers in this tight knit community. Will you pursue endless profits or find a way to benefit everyone in Blomkist? After reading that, I was under the impression that we got to make decisions about how the store would operate, that we would be able to decide what items to stock, the kind of store we wanted to run, and so on. I suppose I thought it would be a bit more like Chef RPG. In Chef RPG, you get full control over the restaurant. However, in this game, you are forced to sell everything and anything that is unlocked. If you don't, the customers will come in looking for the item, and they will feel angry and leave that if you don't have it stocked. This as a whole is not a huge issue for me, but this game felt a lot like a death by a thousand cuts. The game starts like many games in the cozy genre. You are on the bus riding to a small harbor town to help your aunt open a store. As you arrive on the bus, you get a glimpse of the town. It seems a bit run down and shabby. There is even a sheep peeking out from behind the tree. I actually quite liked the layout of the town, however, I did feel it was a bit small. You are expected to go to sleep before midnight, but I never found myself rushing to go back to bed. So, in my personal playthrough, I never ended up staying up that late. After doing a bit more research for this video, I found that at midnight, you simply pass out and end up back in bed. There are no penalties for missing your bedtime. While in theory that could be nice, I personally never had any reason to stay up past 9 p.m., except for one or two quests. After you meet up with your aunt, she rushes you to the supermarket to meet with a resident and your coworker, Grace. Grace is essentially your tutorial. She's the one who eventually gives you all the needed tools to run the store. Of all the town members, I think she may be the one who is best fleshed out. After the beginning of the tutorial, Grace has you open the store, and this is where the bulk of your gameplay will be, running and stocking the store. I will gladly say that this bit of gameplay was certainly addictive for a while. I especially liked that in the beginning you had to do all the math by hand. It felt like an accomplishment to remember the costs of items and do mental math to speed up my checkout. You eventually unlock a scanner, which takes away all the skill in running the cash register. I think this is where gameplay began to drag for me. Ideally, streamlining something tedious like that would open up your time to be better spent elsewhere. However, this county doesn't have anything better to be doing. Working in the store is the fun and engaging gameplay, so I unintentionally took away the challenge from the game. The store closes at 5, and then you can go into the storeroom to order more supplies or restock shelves. I often found that I didn't need much time to do this, so afterward, I would go around town and talk to the locals. After you meet everyone, your aunt tasks you to strike up trade deals with local businesses. You do this by building relationships with them, and by that, I mean doing them a favor. There are 4 local businesses in total that you can make a deal with. As you sell more of their products, you can unlock better deals or new items to stock. I found myself rarely, if ever, talking to the locals who weren't part of the trade deals. I tried to at first, but all the characters felt very flat and boring. Maybe I didn't give them enough of a chance, but Grace was the only character that really felt like she had much of a personality. I know there's a relationship system with the NPCs because you can unlock special cutscenes and dialogue as you increase your relationships with them. But to be honest, I didn't really care. Also, sometimes the triggers wouldn't work properly or would overlap. So it would say something happened, but I never got to see that cutscene. The further into the game I got, the more common this was. The final quest was very difficult for me to trigger because it landed on a Sunday. By this time, I was already feeling very fed up with the game and frustrated. As I lightly mentioned at the beginning of the video, I felt disappointed by the lack of agency in this game. Spoilers ahead for the main conflict of the game. You can skip to this timestamp if you'd like to avoid spoilers. Okay? Ready to move on? When the options for expansion occurred in the game, there were many different dialogue options available. For the first expansion, I chose the somewhat excited options. However, when the option to move into the historical house came up, I chose all the options to push back against the expansion. It was clearly a bad idea. All the locals would be very angry. But my dialogue selections had absolutely zero impact on the story. My question is, why even add them into the game? If it's something that I can't control, why give me the false sense of agency? This ties back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. The Steam page says, use every tool at your disposal to expand your business, but be mindful. Rapid growth might ruffle a few feathers in this tight-knit community. Will you pursue endless profits or find a way to benefit everyone in Blomkes? But I didn't get to make those decisions. I didn't need to be mindful. I didn't choose between endless profits or helping the community. It was all predetermined. I think I was expecting something a little bit like Stardew Valley did, at least. You could either help the community center or go the JoJo route. The community center is harder, but more rewarding. The bar has been set so high with many games recently. Games like Field of Mystria or Coral Island are well loved for their wonderful characters. Games like Sunhaven are vast with complicated plots. I think Discounty just needed more going for it. There was nothing to do after the store was closed and everything was restocked. I often found myself heading to bed at 7 p.m., so I could just continue on with the progression and go open the store again. With all that being said, I can't say I would recommend this game to anyone at this point in time. However, the devs have left plenty of space for there to be updates in the future. There are many things on the map or in the plot that didn't get touched on. If the devs add more things to do outside of the shop, then I can see this game becoming something I would lightly recommend. However, for the time being, I would say to stay away. So these are my thoughts on Discounty. I think it was largely an issue of my going in thinking that it was going to be something other than it was. What do you think? Were you expecting something else from the description, or was that just my blunder? Let me know down in the comments. I'm working on other videos that will hopefully be more positive than this one. So if you want to see those, make sure to hit subscribe so you're notified when I post. Anyway, thank you so much for spending your time with me. See ya.